I'm gonna call this Fast and the Furious Aquaman's Revenge, because that is exactly what it's about.
What?
Everybody knows fucking karate now. Everybody's taking karate lessons. Everybody's kicking ass. One of the things that I need for Dom to stop doing is stop befriending all the ops. You are not Naruto. You don't need to be friends with everybody. Whether we like it or not, Dominic Toretto is up there, bro. Captain America has his shield. Thor has his hammer. Link has the Master Sword. Dominic Toretto has a Dodge Hellcat, right? That's what it is, right? This dude is a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
YouTube, what is goody? It's your boy bminusTV, and I am here for another movie review. And today we're checking out Fast X or Fast 10 or whatever you want to call it. Now, before I get started, I have to say I am a huge Fast and the Furious fan. I love it. I'm never not gonna see a Fast and the Furious movie. I've seen all of them pretty much in the movie theaters except for Hobbs and Shaw. I had to keep it on the Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel side when he was battling with The Rock, but I ended up seeing Hobbs and Shaw afterwards, and it was all right, but I will go and see Fast and the Furious 100 miles per hour movie when that comes out, and I'm 80 years old, shuffling my way to the movie theater. I'm going to see me a Fast and the Furious movie. And I know here's the big question. Why do they keep making these movies? Why do these movies keep making billions and billions of dollars? What is up with this? Why do people like going to see this? The acting isn't good. It's unrealistic. They play with physics in a way that doesn't make any sense. It started off real. It was just about racing. Now it's about guns, technology, and all this shit. The characters, la 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 la. No. We want to see Fast and the Furious because of the mayhem, because of the destruction, because of the car chase scenes, because of the fight scenes, the guns, everything. Sprinkle a little reggaeton and ass shaking there at a car meet. But yes, we want to see Fast and the Furious movie. It's high octane. I want to sit in my chair and not have to think. I want to enjoy myself. I want to see Dominic Toretto throw a Hellcat off of a fucking building, attached to 12 helicopters, and do a windmill 360 dunk into a fucking swimming pool. Like, that is what I want to see from Fast and the Furious. So let's get into it. This movie is called Fast X, again, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call this Fast and the Furious Aquaman's Revenge, because that is exactly what it's about.
What?
Jason Momoa's character, whose name is Dante or Shante, whatever you want to call it, is getting revenge on the Fast and Family team. If you remember the Fast and the Furious where Dom and Brian stole that safe in Brazil, took all this fucking drug lord's money, and then The Rock iced him on the bridge, that was actually this character's father, and he was there on the bridge. One of the things that Fast and the Furious does amazingly is they're good at backtrack storytelling. I don't know if that's a correct term, but I'm making that shit up right now. Backtrack storytelling, whereas like you film shit already, and then you take shit from old movies, kind of refilm new scenes and splice it in, but make it seem like you had filmed that at the same time you filmed in the past, if that makes sense. But whatever it is, they fucking did that shit amazingly. And they went over the top with this movie, like explosions, fight scenes, guns, technology, everything. If I have to put maybe like a list of the top 5, top 4 people who saved the planet, I gotta go, who's been saving the planet for years, by the way, I gotta go with James Bond, number 1. Dominic Toretto and his team, number 2. Optimus Prime, number 3. Captain America and Iron Man as number like 4 and 5. Like I'll do that. Like that's where Dominic Toretto and his team are right now as far as stats. Whether we like it or not, Dominic Toretto is up there, bro. Captain America has his shield, Thor has his hammer, Link has the Master Sword, Dominic Toretto has a Dodge Hellcat, right? That's what it is, right? This dude is a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the synopsis and the plot. So evil Aquaman is getting revenge on Dom and his whole entire family. Dominic Toretto, Brian O'Connor, and The Rock are the reason that his father, that Brazilian drug lord, is dead. Throughout this movie, the common theme is, and we all know this joke, is family, right? We've seen the memes, we've seen the Vin Diesel clones screaming family, family, family over and over and over again. I love that Fast and the Furious franchise doesn't take itself too serious and also understands when the culture or fans kind of like make a joke about stuff and they incorporate into their movies. So obviously that theme of family, this main villain is basically using that against Dom. He starts attacking different parts of his family one by one, and they all get dispersed in this movie. So I know one of the things that we're used to is we're used to the whole Fast and the Furious crew working together, but that's the exact opposite. Letty is in jail. Dom is on his own. I think Ludacris, Tyrese, and Missandei is doing their own shit with Han also. It's like everybody split up. Dom also has his son who's a little bit older. We saw it in the trailer. His son is with Dom's brother, Uncle Jacob. I don't even fucking remember his name, but it's John Cena. And yeah, it's like, oh, the whole crew is split up. There's also other characters that are put in there. Fucking Captain Marvel's in here. Cypher, who's the villain, I think, from not the last, what's it, the last movie? Like, yeah, last 2 movies. She's also in this as well. It's just a whole hodgepodge of different storylines that it doesn't come together in this movie, which is why I think there's going to be a part 2 and a part 3. Let's talk about the villain, Jason Momoa, evil Aquaman, Dante, Shantae. Give him a fucking round of applause. He is kicking ass. I've never seen Jason Momoa act in this way before. Normally, he's that big, tough guy who grunts, muscles. They always got his shirt off for some reason. Like, we've seen it in fucking Aquaman. We've seen it in Game of Thrones. We've seen it when he was Conan. Like, we've seen it. But in this, way out of character for him. And he's putting on his, I don't want to say it's like his acting chops, but anytime somebody does something outside of the norm that they originally do, and I forget that I'm watching that person, so Jason Momoa, it's gold. It's gold. Here, he almost kind of reminds me of a DC villain. He reminds me of a Batman villain. He's some sociopath who is clearly a little bit flamboyant. He's like the Riddler from Batman Forever or Batman, whatever Batman it was. But he's very flamboyant. He's wearing like purple leotards, talking about ballet. He has painted nails on, and he's just fucking with Dominic and his whole team throughout the whole movie. And you gotta be a good actor. You gotta have a good character written when you're wearing a fucking leotard, but you're also on a fucking motorcycle, like blowing shit up. Like, fire. I could definitely see Jason Momoa being a Lobo in James Gunn's DC universe, but, you know, obviously that's a different topic for a different day, but Jason Momoa killed it in this role. That was probably one of my most favorite things about this Fast and the Furious, is because we normally get the villains that are the high-tech villains that can fight, shoot guns, all of this shit, like they're one-track minded, super serious, but this, it just took all of that off the table. He was flamboyant, he was funny, he was just doing unconventional shit. And there was one point where he was painting the toenails of dead bodies and just like having a conversation with them. It was like, yo, this is pretty creepy, but actually pretty cool at the same time. All right, let's talk about some key points in this movie. One of the things that I need for Dom to stop doing is stop befriending all the ops. You are not Naruto. You don't need to be friends with everybody, right? Jason Statham is your friend now. The Rock, who's your enemy, is your friend now. Fucking, it's just, it's ongoing. It's like, yo, you ain't gonna have no more ops, man. It's like, yo, we need to keep these enemies as the enemies. Stop trying to fist bump and make everybody your family. I'm gonna throw spoiler in here. It's like Cypher is now kind of working with the Fast family, but not really. But like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, yo, just like we need some enemies to be some enemies. Like, we need a Legion of Doom of ops for the Fast family. You can't incorporate everybody into the fucking crew. And luckily we got some new ops, all right? So we got evil Aquaman. There's also somebody else that, again, I'm not going to spoil it, who's also another contender as far as enemies of the family. Cypher is kind of still in the mix, but not really. I don't really trust her just yet. But it's like, hey, it's like, all right, if you're going to help us out, like, just fucking help us. It's whatever. All right, one thing that I'll get into before I get into spoilers and then we'll cut out of here is, yes, there is the over dramatic action scenes. There's the over dramatic bending of physics, the over dramatic, like, oh man, I just took like 12 bullets but nothing hit me and I'm walking fine. It's like, you know, we love that shit. That shit is dope. It's like, yo, we're not watching this for the realism anymore. It's like that ship was sailed since the first Fast and the Furious, and you could even say that was kind of, but there was still some cool shit in that one. But everything after that, totally over dramatized. And we love it, obviously, because the box office says so. It's like Dominic Toretto in a Chevy Chevelle attached to 2 helicopters, smashes them together, they blow up. He takes the body of another helicopter and smacks it into a car. Like, how? Only Dominic Toretto could do that. He literally took his car and like drops it out of airplanes. Like, this is fucking nuts. But that's who he is, right? Again, I said Captain America has got his shield. Dominic Toretto has a fucking Charger. There's one scene in the trailer where this guy is driving down the Hoover Dam. I don't know if it's the Hoover Dam or not, but either way, we're gonna use it as a reference point. As like, yo, this guy's driving down the fucking Hoover Dam, massive explosions behind him. His fucking son's in the passenger seat. He hits the Nas button, and it's nuts. There was one scene, and this isn't like spoilers, I guess, spoilers or whatever, where my man outdrove a sonic wave. My man broke the speed of sound in a fucking Hellcat. Like, this is fucking dope. So fucking crazy. So out of this world. Obviously, again, like I said, it's fiction, of course. It's outlandish. It's crazy, but I fucking love seeing it. I'm at the point where I need to see how they can top what they have been producing. Like, they still haven't topped fucking Tyrese and Ludacris in space. I think they were in a fucking Pontiac with rockets. I don't even fucking know, but they still have yet to top that. Like, they're gonna need Thanos to fucking come from space in order for them to top that scene, but they're still getting fucking outlandish here. All right, spoilers, right? Spoilers. We're talking about the end of the movie and the mid-credit scene. This guy, Dominic Toretto, and his son were left off with, oh, they're about to die. We don't know what happens with them. Letty and Cypher were by themselves in fucking Antarctica. I don't even know how they got there, but they escaped this fucking high classified prison, which makes crazy no sense, but it's still dope at the same time. Cypher has her fucking what's that button that you click where your car like pulls up to itself like from parking? Well, she has that button, but for a fucking submarine. And then lo and behold, Gal Gadot, whatever you want to call her, Wonder Woman is back with the Fast and the Furious franchise because those DC checks aren't hitting anymore. The money ran out, and she said, I need to get back to $1 billion franchise, which is the Fast and the Furious franchise. I thought that was dope. I actually wrote that shit in the beginning of my notes that Gal Gadot, whatever you want to call her, let's call her Wonder Woman, was fucking coming back, and I fucking knew it. When she came back, I was fucking mind blown. Tyrese, Missandei, and Ludacris were on a plane that got shot down, so you don't know if they lived that shit. And mid-credit scene, fucking dope. Mid-credit scene. Now remember, in that Fast and the Furious movie, in the one that was in Brazil, the person that actually killed the Brazilian drug lord was the fucking Rock. The Rock and Dominic Toretto, or The Rock and Vin Diesel, have been beefing behind the scenes outside of the movie because The Rock wanted to do a split off of the franchise, and Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, this was like their baby. They were like, nobody's ever going to do a split off. But of course, The Rock is a massive star, and Universal wants to make an insane amount of money off of it. So they're like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Let's give him a fucking movie. He's going to draw in the numbers. So that kind of created beef there. And then The Rock was like, you know what? I don't want shit to do with none of this Fast and the Furious shit. Fuck your family. I'm out. And they've been trying to get The Rock back in the Fast and the Furious franchise because the fans love him. We love The Rock. He draws in massive numbers, but it was always in the air. It was like, all right, we're never going to see The Rock again. Until this fucking movie. At the mid-credit scene. The mid-fucking credit scene, The Rock, all decked out in SWAT. You can't tell who it is. And the villain, evil Aquaman, is like, yeah, Dominic is the reason that my father died, whatever it is, but you pulled the trigger. And then we see The Rock take off his mask, and he says, some bitch. And he's like, oh, I'm coming to get your ass. And the fucking movie theater went fucking bananas. It was so fucking flame seeing The Rock back in the Fast and the Furious franchise. That was actually a quality mid-credit scene. I don't even think Fast and the Furious has had a couple of mid-credit scenes. Not too much, and not in every single movie, but this was dope. It was dope because of the beef that was going behind the scenes, and now we know in the next one that Vin Diesel and the family is going to have some help from The Rock to take down fucking Dante or evil Aquaman. And that is it. That is my review for Fast X, Fast and the Furious 10, Fast and the Furious, Aquaman's Revenge, whatever you want to call it. Go see this. This is not a Christopher Nolan movie. Don't worry about the acting. Don't worry about the cinematography and all that shit and the storytelling. No, it's high octane. It's explosions, car chase scenes. Everybody knows fucking karate now. Everybody's taking karate lessons. Everybody's kicking ass. Go see this. Chug a Monster energy drink before seeing it and just fucking relax and have fun. And I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.